Hi everyone, it's Bren here, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but what you're about to watch is the last winter garden update of 2020, because when I see you again next Friday, it's going to be spring here in Australia, and hopefully now that means the weather will just warm up from now on, because I'm telling you, a few days this week in early morning we had a few light frosts, which I was quite surprised about. I'm just hoping now and crossing my fingers that that's the end of it. So why don't we go now and have a look around. There's a bird bath back over in this garden bed. Well, actually it kind of doubles as a bee bath too. I do need to fill it up and give it a clean, but I put these little stones in here for the bees and the birds to rest on while they have a drink of water. Like really, there's no need to go out and buy expensive bird baths. This one is just resting on an old log and it's a lid off a bin. I always like to place them near flowering plants, especially for the bees, so it just makes it really obvious to them where the water is. Over here I have a jalapeno plant that's been sitting in here all winter, so it produced a lot of chilies this summer, and I think, well, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think I had good intentions to dig it out and overwinter it in a pot along with all my other plants I have up near the back door, but I never ended up taking this one out. And to be honest with you, it kind of worked out well, because now I can see that in this garden bed with very mild frosts it is possible to leave them in ground. I noticed there's a lot more bees in the garden this week, especially now that all of the barrage is flowering. It's self-seeded in so many different areas, and I've just left all the plants pretty much. I'll just let the garden do its own thing. I've noticed this year that my primulas haven't been flowering as much as they usually do. In fact, these plants here are starting to look a little bit tired, and I do have a couple that have died off. Now, I could spend a bit of time and energy giving these a liquid feed, but I have so many more plants in the greenhouse that are almost ready to put out into the garden that will last much longer than these plants will. So I think probably in another week or so I'll pull all of these out and replace them with annuals that will last much longer into summer. At the other end of this garden bed I have about 7 or 8 of these Johnny Jump Viola plants, which I put in back in autumn as well, and they were just sitting there not really growing much at all. But again, this week I noticed there's a lot more flowers on them and they're starting to spread out a bit more. And once I get this little section tidied up, because I still haven't done any decent edging or given it a good mulch for spring and summer, but once these plants fill out, I think they will make a really nice border along the front of this garden bed. Here's another basket load of oranges that I picked this morning, and you can see there's still heaps left on the tree. I have been giving quite a few of these away because honestly there's just so many. My little garden helpers are busy at work. You can see Snowflake there, she's looking for slugs and snails that hide around the edge of the pot. Directly across from the lemon tree is our Magnolia. I am absolutely delighted to tell you that I've just spotted a couple of flowers up at the very top of this tree. You can hardly see them. There's one just there and there's one up over here, and I've only just noticed them now while recording this update. That just gives me so much hope that it may pull true. So many of the native plants are flowering, particularly all of the grevilleas, and there's the lovely sweet scent of jasmine once again climbing up the trees. I also have some here on this archway. There are lots of nasturtium flowers. I actually bought another variety, a seed packet this week that I'm going to sow. I just went and grabbed this seed packet to show you. So these are Nasturtium's dual mix, and I was really drawn to the flowers on the pack, especially these ones down here. I think if I got those flowers, I would be delighted. So I might sow these, I will sow these seeds, and hopefully I'll be lucky enough to get this one here. And what I also like about these is, so underneath our orange tree, you can see here, these nasturtiums are a trailing mixed nasturtium, but these ones here are more compact, so you can put them in pots. They don't get too big, they won't really kind of take over. They probably will if they self-seed, but they won't like sprawl all over the ground. Yeah, I'm just gonna give them a try. And since I'm showing you seeds, I also bought these ones. I've grown snapdragons before, but I have never seen these. Do you notice how the petals are all kind of speckled? It's almost like someone splashed paint on them. I'm really looking forward to giving them a try. This one here is also a smaller variety of cosmos. So a lot of the cosmos I grow can get quite large, and this one again will be compact. Last week I showed you all of these tomato seedlings, but I have even more to show you now. Remember last week I didn't have any of these black Roma icicle seedlings. None of them had germinated, but look what's happened since I've seen you last. I have lots of them. In the greenhouse I do need to give everything a bit of a water, but we'll just ignore that for the moment because I now have some tiny toms. They are a smaller variety. I can put them in pots. Over here are some honeybee. At the back there I have some sun gold. And the only one I'm waiting on that I've sowed a while ago is this one here, the money maker. I took this tray out of the greenhouse to show you that I've sown even more tomato seeds this week. So last year I tried to grow about 35 different varieties, and it was a real struggle. Even though I did harvest quite a lot of tomatoes, I mean, if you've been following me along for a while, you'll know, or most people probably know around the world, how tough it was here in Australia last summer with all of the bushfires, the extreme record-breaking temperatures and the drought. So I think I need to give this another shot. So this year I'm going to go again and try and grow lots of different tomatoes. I can't believe that it was only last week that I showed you this little setup where I had the cling wrap over the top of these trays, and I've been able to remove them because I have had so many seeds germinate, from sunflowers to zinnias to beans. It's really exciting. Look, there's so many of them. I think the zinnias were the seeds that surprised me the most because they need quite warm temperatures to germinate, but here in this location they just have no problem at all. This whole tray here is the scabious mix. I also sowed a few of the peppermint sticks. They're similar to those snapdragons I just showed you. They have kind of like speckles on their petals. They're really pretty. I've also got lots of sunflowers too, heaps of different varieties, and oh my goodness, I've gone a bit crazy sowing beans. In here I have the red noodle snake beans. I grow them every year. They look so decorative in the garden, hanging off archways. The flowers are starting to open on the Pride of Mandaria. I've still got a few of the Bird of Paradise flowers despite the frost. These are the flowers from the Misuna, which is an edible plant, and I'm just going to leave them here now and let them flower because I think they're pretty. And you can see from the about 5 plants I put in here, they have really taken over this space. They're going to look gorgeous once they're all blooming. The rocket is still going as well. This is near where I park my car, and whenever I get out I notice there's quite a few bees hanging around here. I potted on the seedlings, the African marigolds that I showed you last week. So I've got 6 here and another 3 over here, which isn't too bad considering I only paid a couple of dollars for the seed packet. I've just gone inside and made myself a glass of orange juice. Do you notice how it's like a deeper orange colour, almost with a hint of red? That's due to some of the oranges on our tree having this slightly speckled red. They almost look like blood oranges. I'm not quite sure how it works, but on this side of the tree, I often notice that a lot of the oranges look like the one I've just shown you. And I wonder, when it was originally put in here, was it grafted or something? Is it possible that there's two varieties on the one tree? I have no idea, and if any of you know, I would love to hear from you just to help me out. Well, I'm going to finish off this glass and head inside. Thank you so much for watching this week, everyone, and I'll see you again next Friday.